Well, greetings again, everyone. Hope you're all doing very, very well out there. And this was pretty much a impromptu update video because I wasn't planning to do one anytime soon because I was planning to start production on my next video. And things went a little wonky over the weekend, so I didn't get started. And so I felt like, well, why not? Why not? So let's catch up on certain things on the channel here if you've missed out on certain things or unaware. Got a couple things out. We got commentary for Creepshow 2, which performed very well. Performed very nicely. Good amount of metrics, stuff like that. Very pleased on the whole thing. And later this week, we're dropping a commentary for Maximum Overdrive, which is a lot of silliness, a lot of ridiculousness, but it's a very, very chatty commentary, and it'd be very entertaining for you guys. And I recently dropped my updated video on Wolf, the Mike Nichols film from '94, and this was a thing in the works for years and years, because I got the Indicator Series UK Blu-ray from Powerhouse Films back in 2018, because I think it dropped in 2017. I got the year afterwards. This was the limited edition one with the booklet, and it's always kind of hemming and hawing around to wanting to do it, and I kept being like, kind of, but not really, and some things here and there, just like, one thing I was always like, the transfer on the Blu-ray is not terribly great. It's very, very old, very, very dated. Kept hoping and praying that some way Sony might be convinced to do a remaster, even though this is way down on their priority list. Not a hit film. Nothing that's really had much of a sustained cult following. Like, not really known that there's a cult following. Where the topic of the film comes up, certain people crop up and stuff like that and say, hey, I like that, or this, that, the other thing, or sort of things, but it's like something that just goes completely unnoticed. It's like, if it wasn't going to happen for the 30th anniversary, I'm not banking on it happening pretty much ever. So, anything like that. So, the positive thing is I did say at the end of that video, the fact that there's a lot of stuff that came up in the years since then, from things on archive.org and various other things. Like there was a biography on Mike Nichols that had information and interviews about the production of the film that only came out about last couple of years. So if I did this thing back in 2018, there's a lot of information I would not have had that I do have for this video. So as I mentioned in the previous update, I actually shot this in mid-January when I was thinking about doing a break in the T2 video production line, but then just got back up the steam and everything like that. But I shot it and just sat there. So I actually haven't shot a real video in like a month plus. And so that's the interesting thing in that regard. So I finally got the backlog completely cleared out. And it went off very well. I did have a little delay because I uploaded and it kept catching the content ID system. And so it wasn't getting blocked, but it was getting demonetized. And so I did the entire thing with the dispute first off. And someone at Sony kind of got off on top of that quick and denied it. So they went off to the appeals process, which is a much shorter thing because the dispute process is 30 days to wait for them to respond and everything like that. The appeals process is 7 days. So I just had to wait the 7 days out. So I got a little bit delayed, but it was fine because we got the commentaries banked up. So I was like, okay, I'll shift things around. I'll release the Creepshow 2 one first. And then when that appeals process expires, Full Wolf was released immediately. So anything like that. So good things in that regard. That one's also performing very, very well. I was very pleased because I released it kind of late-ish in the night or whatnot. I think the copyright appeal kind of expired around 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, so I just released it immediately. I wasn't going to wait around. But it looks like it caught a little traction on Blue Sky because a lot of people were reposting it, stuff like that here and there, and that seemed to get up on some traction, stuff like that. So very good things, very positive in that regard. So I really like Blue Sky. Very happy over there. Don't need to go back to other places. I'm very, very pleased where I am right now. But anything like that, so that's a very positive thing that really was worthwhile. Wasn't something that was kind of crawling and scraping for views. It very much has been very healthy in that regard. So last month it was a little kind of meager on sort of the things because it took so long to get the T2 video done. We only had a couple commentaries out. Didn't have a lot of stuff to really juice the algorithm. This month has been performing very nicely in that regard. So each one of the videos, the commentary we put out, the Wolf video, everything like that, has been getting up very, very good views. And hopefully the Maximum Overdrive one will also perform very, very nicely. Now, getting up on. The next thing I'm working on is a review for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Now, we got the new one, the supposed final one coming up at the end of May. I'm not saying I'm blowing through all the other ones to get up to the entire thing. Work at my own pace. When I want to get to them, I'll get to them. Right now, working on Rogue Nation, and I was going to shoot it on Sunday. But I was like, Sunday was not good for me. Like, I have a lot of sleep problems in some places, and some days are worse than others. And some days I get worse sleep, but it doesn't quite affect me as much. But when I get the good sleep, it feels like I'm kind of heavily sleeping in that regard. So that kind of just drags the whole energy down. So Sunday, I just decided this ain't going to happen. I kind of waited and to see if I was going to perk back up. Didn't happen, so I just spent the whole day lounging around, watching random stuff on YouTube. But did eventually, I feel like, okay, since I'm kind of delaying this until the end of the week now, I'll just watch Fallout, too. So it's like, now I have that fresh in my mind. So when I go into the Rogue Nation thing, I at least can get just a little tease whenever I want to get the Fallout. At least I can have a fresh sense of that film against Rogue Nation in that regard. So good things in that regard. So good things overall. Done a lot of research on the bonus material stuff, and I'll see if I kind of dig around for other stuff beyond that to get a little more information. But all that good stuff, type of stuff. So I'll be shooting that over the upcoming weekend and getting it going in that regard in terms of post-production, all the type of stuff. So very good type of stuff in that regard. And commentaries for next month. One, we're doing The Fly from David Cronenberg. Good solid thing, because we're just kind of figuring out where to slap it, and it ends up being March has his birthday in the middle of the month, so I figured what the hell, good a date as any, so anything like that. But the second one we're having, I don't even want to tease it. I just felt like we haven't really talked about it anywhere type of way. We just kind of threw it together in our dinner break in between commentaries in this previous session. We just threw it together and just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so I just kind of feel like, let's drop a surprise one on you guys. Filmmaker we've never had done a commentary for before. And so it's new to the channel. Never done a review video for this filmmaker. Never done a commentary for it. And so we're going to land it in the latter half of March. And that's all I'm going to really tell you. It's not one of these bad surprise ones like we did Jason X or Jason Goes to Hell. Not that stuff. This is completely other end of the spectrum. This is one of the best films I've ever seen. Why not surprise you a little bit? Get up on the whole thing. So that'll be a nice little interesting bit to kind of get your anticipation about what's going to happen in this entire thing. But it is at least I'll say, I believe it was at least Oscar nominated in a certain category. But that's all I'm going to give you. But moving beyond that, before I get into, I'll put like stories and harrowing things at the end of this whole thing. But let's move slightly into media pickups, where there's not much, but there's pertinent stuff, because I got the 4K of Constantine. And it being the 20th anniversary of the film, which I did see in the theater twice back in 2005, I really want to grab this thing. I've had it on DVD. I grabbed it on Blu-ray when I did the video on the film 5 years ago. Covered it in very much depth because I had gone through some Hellblazer comics before, the entire Dangerous Habit storyline, which was having an influence on the film. I also discussed a little bit at the end of the video, a bit of Matt Ryan's run on the entire character, stuff like that. So if you haven't seen the video before, definitely go check it out. I'll see if I'll throw it up as on the end screen on this one. If you go to guys, click over to that thing and check it out if you haven't. But it was a very in-depth video. I was very, 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 very pleased about how that one came out. So good stuff in that regard. But grab this up. It's got Dolby Vision. I think they put a brand new Dolby Atmos mix on the thing. And it has a brand new featurette, 2 Decades of Damnation, which has interviews from Keanu Reeves and director Francis Lawrence, who have been in talks about doing a sort of 20 years later sequel. It's very much kind of churning in the weeds and whatnot, however you want to put it. But they've been kind of constant talks with like James Gunn at DC Studios, stuff like that, about making it happen. So it's coming along. There's just been a constant talk about it happening. So I think they're just getting it up to the point where they want to and trying to figure out the story and screenwriters, all the type of stuff. But I think it's definitely happening. Keanu's very, very, very excited for it. Lawrence is very excited for it, so they're very much getting up on the entire thing there. But watching this entire thing, because back in 2005, you're kind of in this transition period between having original negatives and doing the digital intermediates. A lot of them were pretty much all of them back in the day were 2K in digital intermediates, because like my 4K of Casino Royale, that's an upscale from 2K in digital intermediate. That's 2006. So there's about a year and a half difference between the releases of the two films. But it seems like some things like Bourne Supremacy, which is about a year before this, is a 2K digital intermediate 4K upscale. So it's a bit of a thing, but this one, you can definitely tell this was from a brand new scan of original negative, because it has a lot of detail. You can definitely pick up. My thing is always looking at faces. Always get a lot of detail in faces with pores and facial stubble and hair and everything like that. Wherever you want to look at, a lot of times you'll get a lot of detail when you're looking at close-ups of faces, and this definitely shows through in that regard. And the films always have a very strong color palette, and that definitely comes through very nicely with the Dolby Vision grade. I thought it came off very, very well. It's a very good-looking film. Shot by, I think he was Academy Award-winning cinematographer Philippe Grousselot. Wonderful type of stuff he's done. Just like he's a really visionary cinematographer. Really shot this with a great eye for it, with Francis Lawrence's sort of direction in that regard. But the film comes off very, very well in 4K. I definitely recommend it. Just like, again, between the detail, the color quality, the representation of the film. Like I've said, I've watched this film plenty of times over different formats over the years, and this definitely exceeds and excels beyond what we've had before. And so that's just a very good type of thing. The fact that they got pretty much all the old bonus features. I think one of the reviews I was reading is like there may be a couple legacy ones that didn't carry over, but anything like that, I really much definitely recommend you guys. If you like the film at all, this is definitely a good, solid upgrade, because I think the old Blu-ray was a VC1 encode, anything like that. So this is definitely, just in terms of encoding quality, resolution, color, all that type of stuff, it definitely exceeds beyond where it has been before. And so I just got the standard slipcover version. Didn't grab the steelbook because I just feel, I don't know, I just don't quite feel, unless I'm like really excited for a certain film, that the packaging is really exceptional to me, or maybe they got some additional like physical extras or something like that I'm intrigued by. Usually I don't go for the more premium versions and everything like that, so this does me just fine. I think it came off very, very well in 4K, so it's definitely strongly recommended in that regard. The film still holds up pretty nicely. Some things feel like maybe not like A+ film in that regard, but still a very good film that's held up very nicely because of the quality of the production values, the cinematography, the visuals of the film very much come off in a very strong type of fashion in that regard. I do feel like when you get into the Underground Club from Papa Midnight, you got those really, really strong red washes. Still gets a little murky. Not like it's bad or whatnot, but it just feels like it kind of snuffs out some of the clarity of the entire thing. Even though it's all shot in film and stuff like that, it just felt like it kind of suffered a little bit from that kind of like cast or whatnot for the entire thing, where you can't quite get as many kind of minute details off of certain things, but it's a very short sequence and those lighting schemes that entire film there. So it just felt like it was a little bit thing to note, but soundtrack came off very nicely. Everything came off very solidly, so definitely recommend grabbing that 4K of Constantine, and we'll see where things go in due time. In terms of what else I grab up, but I had a little odyssey, because I mentioned last one that one of my favorite new bands, Plush, put out a brand new live album, and I finally did get my CD copy of it, and the problem is this is the second version I had to order, because the post office lost my original package. I sat there waiting for the thing, because it was supposed to be delivered the day before the release date, and then the tracking stopped. It just stalled out. It got lost between the distribution center and the hub, and it just went nowhere. And the problem is, you can't file a service request until a certain amount of days have passed since the entire thing originally was shipped out or anything like that. So, problem is, even after the thing was clearly stopped and was going nowhere for days, I still had to wait. Like I said, the thing was supposed to be delivered on a Thursday. I had to wait until the following Wednesday to file a claim like 12 a.m. Wednesday, I had to file the claim and go in the entire thing and the entire service request, and they couldn't find it. Couldn't find it at all. And so that was really souring the crap out of me. Thankfully, instead of dealing around and screwing around with their freaking forms and everything like that to try to get and file a claim to get the entire thing reimbursed, I just went because I ordered directly from the band's website, from Pavement Entertainment and Pavement Music. I decided to email them directly and send them PDFs of the emails I had from post office and various other things, show them that I did order it from Amazon. So I just, all the different things, and the original email I had from the receipt of the entire purchase, and they did eventually, later that day, issue me a full refund for the entire order there. So, very good type of things. And apparently they're located here in Chicago, well, here in the non-suburb or Chicago proper, but anything like that. So I got an email back. It was very, very nice, very kind, very gracious, and they're very understanding in their whole thing. So they were very much just very accommodating in that regard. So I was very much pleased because I was not having a good day. And that email popped up, the notification popped up from PayPal that I got the reimbursement, and I got an email back, and everything just kind of flipped around for the rest of the night there in that regard. So, and also, this is fantastic. Like I said, I got it on Amazon, and it showed up, and I sat down and listened to the whole thing, and it sounds phenomenal. And I replaced in one of my playlists, I took out all the studio tracks and just put the live tracks in there because it does sound absolutely fantastic. The fact is, I saw them twice on this tour last year, and so just like listening to stuff, it just takes me right back into that mode. So they play so extremely well. They just add that extra game on top of things when they're on stage, performing live, all the type of stuff. Fantastically good stuff. So I just really, really, really endorse the whole thing. So it's Plush Live USA 24. So great type of stuff. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Can't wait to see them again. They're recording new stuff now. And so we'll see how that entire thing rolls out through the rest of the year. But they're already kind of like putting up posts saying, where do you want us to go this year? Where do you want us to perform and stuff like that? So definitely looks like they'll be with Pavement Music and all the type of stuff, really trying to hit up as many. It's a lot of the same stuff that performed very well the last time. We're probably trying to find new promoters, new cities, stuff like that, where there's a really kind of like a swell of demand for them to come there and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for them, really happy for them. Everything they put out just sounds absolutely fantastic. They're hooking up with the right people in terms of just engineering and qualities and production and stuff like that. Excellent type of stuff. I'm very, very pleased by it. And just on a note in that regard, them going to the studio, and also Trent's band, Hemi, are finally going back in the studio right now, brand new producer, recording new stuff for the band. So I'm very much pleased that they're finally getting back up on the entire thing. It's been a long time since they've released brand new music. And so seeing the fact that they finally got some songs put together, and they're going in there specifically looking for a brand new producer, give them new ideas, new fresh things. I'm very excited for what they're going to do and stuff like that. So that's very good type of stuff. And we'll flip around to a little bit of the things where I mentioned last time, kind of announced last time, that we were going to be doing my short film production this spring. And we're kind of, things got to a certain point. Nothing's fallen apart. But the fact is, we're kind of going nowhere. And between the fact that things, the more we kind of examined what we had to get done, the more it seemed like it was too much to get done in the time we had. And as I was kind of working this out with Steve, and we're kind of throwing texts back and forth, I texted Eric, our cinematographer, who worked with me on The Fixer, shot the Hemi music video for Fire in the Sky, a bunch of other stuff, been friends for ages and ages. He texted back over to him saying, like, kind of between me and Steve, we kind of figured like, we probably need to postpone this summer. Because we're just feeling like there's like way too much stuff between having to get the crew together, secure locations, not even thinking about the cast stuff. There's just a lot of logistics. We feel like we got to iron out over a longer period of time and try to take it a little bit at a time here and there. So we kind of figured that out. And when I texted Eric, he had something coming up in the entire schedule that was like, okay, this is going to consume way too much of his time. We're moving into the summer is also the thing he was thinking about. So we were all kind of in the same boat in that regard. So it was a very much good thing that we we're all kind of feeling like, from different angles and whatnot, it felt like the pressure was a little too at odds with us at this point in time. So we're moving it towards the summer, not pinpointing a date or month, maybe June, July. We'll see how things go. But there's just a lot of things in terms of like, we don't have that, on the page it doesn't look like that much when you're reading the script. But once you start thinking it out, it's like, okay, we got like a nighttime exterior location. Well, a lot of the entire suburbs around here have a certain like film permits, require a certain like submit them in certain like at least 30 days in advance. Another one town was like 90 days in advance, and various other things. Like there's a lot of things we're just kind of throwing around, and it feels like we're going to stumble and fall over ourselves trying to scramble this thing together. It's not quite going to happen right now. So I felt like there was that, and also the thing in the back of my mind is, okay, if we're going to shoot like first week of April, that's completely unpredictable weather here in Chicago. Like at that point in time, between March, April, it's all just all over the place. It could be cold and rainy one day, it could be nice and warm the next, and there could be a snowfall somewhere. It's like you can never tell. It could be anywhere in between. It's like the different seasons are constantly at odds and combating and trying to scrape and claw against each other. That's exactly the way it is. So that was the kind of thing in the back of my mind is like, we can't predict anything at this point in time, but it could definitely, if we're doing a couple of exterior things, it could really go off in different directions and kind of throw us for a loop. Now in the summer, things will be probably more stable. We'll have shorter nights. So it's kind of the give and take type of thing. So we'll probably have more consistent weather in the summer to do things in that regard, but we might have to start a couple hours later into the night, into the evening and whatnot, before, once it actually gets dark, to shoot certain sequences. But we'll see how things go. It's going to be a much easier thing if we kind of push it out. We can work on it for maybe about 3 months to build up the pre-production elements and get things where they need to be for us to do it the right way. So we're not like I said last time, we're not doing the running gun guerrilla type of stuff we did all those years ago. We just want to make sure that we're doing things the right way. We're not over-texting ourselves. We're not going to stress ourselves out. We're not going to put ourselves into a situation where I was a lot on the kill shot entire project I was doing more than 10 years ago, where I was just trying to cobble things together and not really have much of a plan and just kind of throw caution to the wind. We want to do this the right way. We want to get a crew together, all the things we need for the crew, get a cast together where we can approach a cast, say we've got a crew together. We've got locations we've got to sort out. We've got certain dates we want to do things on. So we come to these people, it all clicks into place. We know exactly what we want, and we get moving forward. So that's a big type of thing. So that was kind of throwing me for a little bit of a loop. As before we got to that point on Saturday, early in the week, I was stressing out like you wouldn't want to believe. I was like horribly stressed out. And it was not going well for me. For like a 24-hour period, I was just dire. I was downward spiral type of thing, everything. It was just the worst type of thing you'd want. And so I'm just crunch everything in my head. And it's like I can't get it all to figure out. It just felt overwhelming to me. And so eventually I figured things out. But I figured things out at the beginning of the week, trying to sort everything out in an email to kind of figure out what we could do. But by the end of the week, we got to the situation where like, we can't really do this right now. It's not in the right timeline, the right timetable of certain things. We need to decompress what we need to do and approach it in a different type of way. So at the beginning of the week, it was really bad. It's really, really bad. So I was sitting around doing things and trying to alleviate the pressure. Kept listening to all the different versions I could find of my favorite song, Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. I got a live version, I got the original version, I got a re-recorded version. I started looking up cover versions, everything to kind of make me feel better. But I got a little bit there, but what got me all the way over the hump, got me back to feeling good and wash the fried nerves away, was breaking out my Criterion copy of The Princess Bride. just one of the best films ever. I just like this brought me back. I was so happy. It was a bit of a rough thing. It was like, do I really want to watch the whole film? I was getting certain things like that was okay, but it was healing me as I went through the entire thing. So, oh my God. I know it's a 1987 film, so I don't know if we're ever going to get to a commentary of it. I would love to do one. It might be 2 years off before we do one because of if you want to hit an anniversary or something like that. But I was sitting there watching it, and as it was going along and filling me with a lot more rejuvenating energy, it's like there's so many good things in this film. It's such a wonderful film, and just thinking about that Rob Reiner string of films, like the most diverse types of films you could possibly imagine, that he nailed apparently every single one of them. I really have to watch more of these things, more Rob Reiner films from that peak period. So, but this was just fabulous to just experience again. So it's just a regular Blu-ray, it's not the 4K edition, but I got this for Christmas many, many years ago, and it's just that nice storybook version of the entire thing, which they replicated for the 4K edition, but it's nice to kind of show off in that regard, and it's just delightful. It's a delightful film. So that really got me better, in a better space and everything like that, so I could go back to work and be a positive, productive person and everything like that. So that made everything feel a lot better. So I don't know if there's anything else really to discuss in that regard. So moving forward, beyond everything like that, so I'll mention some April commentaries. Got things kind of sorted out because there was something I did get finally, because the Maximum Overdrive DVD got here the last minute, and I was watching the tracking, and it got here the day we recorded the commentary. So I was like, God damn, am I throwing away the money for the DVD? I'm just going to have to rent this on VOD and hope the thing goes off well, because we've had some hiccups and problems technical-wise and stuff like that on certain commentaries that we were trying to do it off of a VOD thing, and it didn't quite go as well. Like Peacock and its Dolby Vision thing was kind of screwing us up on the Halloween Ends thing with the subtitles. Didn't get there. We did, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, when we were doing the Running Man commentary, originally decided, well, there's a 4K version up on Apple TV. Let's just rent that and watch it off the 4K version. And there was a problem with the fact is I had to reset my password to log into it on the TV. And about 10 or so minutes into the film, it logged me out. So we had to stop the commentary. I ran over and just grabbed the DVD, loaded it up, synced it back up, and we resumed it. So you can't tell. You can't tell because I made this edit as seamless as possible. But anything like that. So that arrived at the last minute. And April commentaries, I'm going to May and stuff like that. April, we're doing American Psycho and Alien 3. And after that, because Alien Day is 4/26 from LV 426, so we're going to land that one about on that day. And American Psycho one's right maybe about a week and a half before that. We'll see how that rides. But the anniversary date for the fucking remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, which I did get a Blu-ray for, which was cheaper than the DVD for Maximum Overdrive. We got this. The anniversary date is right at the end of April, so we're not going to hit that for this. We decided to bump it over to May because we'd rather watch a lot of other things and put more priority over certain things than this notorious thing, which we hemmed and hawed for years now, saying we would never do it. And then me and Steve, back in like October or something like that, we kind of got the same idea at the same time and decided, let's just do it and bite the bullet and get it done. So there's that. And Steve lent me his 4K copy of The Shining, because that's coming up on a 45th anniversary in May. So we're kind of looking towards maybe doing that. I need to watch it again, because I haven't watched it in a long time, and get a new opinion on the entire thing. So that's what we're going for, the kind of the spring months. And again, with certain things, of course, the surprise comedy for March. So not enough hints for you to kind of venture a guess or something like that. But if you want to, go ahead. We're not going to verify anything. Just got to wait. nice to wait, get surprised, all that type of stuff. So I think it's a nice little update. Not too many earth-shattering things, but some nice things. But I will mention some things have been kind of going up on in terms of like stuff I've been reading, some audiobook type of stuff that didn't work out for me. Because up on the Amazon Black Friday deal because there was a buy two get one free thing for like a couple like trade paperback stuff like that. Haven't gone through my Nightwing ones, but I did I got through halfway of the Batman and Robin Father and Son Volume 1, and I was reading through half of this thing, like certain elements are kind of okay for me, kind of interesting me, but it just felt like it was just way too much of a procedural story, and just like it wasn't interesting me. It just like plot turn after plot turn about it was kind of a little bit like one of the later Tim Seeley, I think it was like the volume 3 or 4, volume 3 or whatnot, the Nightwing thing I was talking about a couple of months ago, where it's like, I didn't quite like it because it just felt like it was like one of those things like, you think this guy's the top guy, no, that there. Now that moves to the next guy, and then there's a guy above him and a guy above him. It just felt like it was kind of that kind of story where you're just kind of chase it around and everything like that. It was more procedural than it was character. There was character in it, but it wasn't quite as much as I wanted. I wanted much more of a character story instead of a procedural story. And so I kind of got halfway through it, and I felt like I'm just kind of reading this just to get through it. I'm just like, I'm not really enjoying it that much, so I decided to sell it off at half price. Because I tried getting off on eBay, there was no biters, so I just put it with a stack of stuff, some Laserdiscs, some DVDs, some Blu-rays, stuff like that I threw in together and stuff like that. So I felt like if I'm not really enjoying it, let me throw it out in the world so someone else will enjoy it instead. An audiobook I was going through I was kind of looking to get back in the Star Wars audiobooks type of stuff. I was kind of hemming and hawing. I decided to go for trying to delve back into like the Thrawn stuff, the Hand of Thrawn duology from Timothy Zahn. Starts out with Spectre of the Past, and there's Vision of the Future, and it was kind of a similar type of thing. I don't know how far I got. I just did the return on Audible today, and I was just like, it doesn't feel like it's nearly as good of a story. It's a lot more political machinations going on. It's not quite much of an adventure story, and it felt like, I enjoyed, in fact, it was Mark Thompson again, fabulous, just like incredible voice actor, awesome, just everything you could ever want, creating distinct characters, distinct voices, everything like that. It's just unreal what he does. And I was like enjoying certain things, entire thing, like when I was involving in certain characters, but there's certain like, it was again just like I felt like I was just going through it just to get through it. And I've heard like, okay, a lot of people said like Spectre of the Past is a bit of a slow story, it's a bit of a grind getting through it, but Vision of the Past really is kind of up the game and stuff like that. It really gets much more faster paced story. But I felt like I really don't want to. I just kind of get dulled with it. I just got a little uninvested in this. I wasn't really invested in the story, and so I was like, I just like, okay, I'm just gonna put those off to the side for a little while and see if I'm gonna want to go back to it. I decided today, finally, like, no, I'm just gonna turn it in and get a credit back and use it for something else. But for the thing is about the last week plus, I found that there's actually a couple of Jessica Jones Marvel crime novels as audiobooks up on Audible exclusively. And so I actually started listening. I am more than halfway through already. I've been blazing through this thing. I love it. Lisa Jewell, Breaking the Dark. She put this out, I think, last June or so. And I think I saw, this has been kind of a little bit tattooed in my memory, that I believe Kristen Ritter, I think it was like an Instagram story or whatnot, really showed off that she read through the entire thing, and she definitely endorsed it. Now this follows more of a comics timeline or whatnot, storyline or whatnot, in that regard, where it's not the Netflix series, it's much more following along like the fact that she was an actual costumed hero with the Avengers and stuff like that at a certain point in time, but it lays it all out very easily. I love the story. And the fact is, the narrator, the voice actor, Helen Laser, fabulous. I saw a post with her as I was going through like the first bit of the entire thing. Like the first day I was listening to this thing, I was just hooked in. I loved what she was doing because apparently she was a big fan of Kristen Ritter in the entire character, and I posted a comment on a post she had on Instagram promoting the entire thing, the fact that she was very much thought it was like the opportunity of a lifetime type of thing, because she very much loved Ritter's performance, the character, all the type of stuff. So her doing the entire thing, I posted on the entire thing. That was just thought she was nailing the tone, doing great justice to what Kristen Ritter did in character, everything like that. And I've been loving this thing. I'm 6 hours into this 10-hour audiobook. I just love everything. The fact is, Lisa Jules written a damn good novel here. A damn good one. Just, as anyone knows anything about me, like I said in the last thing, that series is a very strong influence on a lot of the stuff I've been trying to write, in terms of like these neo-noir, female-led sort of stories or whatnot. And that I just absolutely love that character, what Ritter did, everything like that. I have the soundtracks from all 3 seasons. I've got, we put out season 1 on physical media, but I have it on Blu-ray and stuff like that. So just very much a strong source of inspiration and gravitation for myself. And the fact is, this freaking novel's great. It's great. I absolutely love it. I love the character development they have with Jessica and the story they have her involved in, the entire mystery she's trying to unravel. Everything is so really well put together. It's a fantastic novel. I've still got 4 more hours to go or so, but I'm just absolutely loving it. The fact is, I'm trying to churn through this thing. I wasn't even getting this fast on the Star Wars stuff. I'm just hooked in this thing completely. And there's another one, different author, different voice talent, but there's another one called Playing with Fire, which is another Audible exclusive. It's not one you can purchase, but it comes free with your entire membership and stuff like that. So I'm trying to, part of it is like I want to get through this one, so I can also check that one out in the same month. So we're going to see about that. But that was a much shorter entire story, but looking forward to that one. And so I'm just hooked. I love this thing. Because I was like, I got home, I had dinner and stuff like that after work, and I just kept listening to chapter after chapter. Because cool thing is, like, the chapters are really swift. Like, it's not lingering story or whatnot. And it's got a good intercutting storyline and all the different things. Like, it's just really briskly paced. But it doesn't like kind of breeze through anything. It's very substantive, but it just keeps a really solid pace to keep you engaged with what's going on there. So, I just love this entire thing. Just definitely, deeply, highly recommend it. I love it. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting to the entire thing. And, of course, I think it's around March 25th. It's when Kristen Ritter's novel, Retreat, her second novel, is hitting. And I've already pre-ordered the audiobook, which is narrated by her herself. I'm looking forward to it so much. And there's been getting a lot of like review copies have been put out already, and people are just gushing over the entire thing. I'm just really excited. I'm just on this high. I'm just all up on the other thing. I just love Kristen Ritter, her energy, her personality, all the type of things. The fact she's very ambitious as a creative person, all the type of things. It just really kind of fuels me to a certain degree. I just like love her so much. So everything like that, everything connected to her, everything she endorses, very much put an eye towards it, and just kind of like, I love the fact that she's author and an actress and all the different things. She's wonderful. Absolutely love her. She's a source of energy for myself, and just the fact that she injected so much in this character that's made it so iconic, and the fact is we got the Daredevil Born Again series coming up in a couple weeks, so I'm definitely going to be getting Disney Plus. I'm going to be watching the entire thing. Hopefully it's really damn good, because I love Daredevil as well. Daredevil was fantastic. I do have the first 2 seasons of that on Blu-ray. They didn't put out the third, but I have the first 2 on Blu-ray, so I might delve in. I don't know if I can get through 3 seasons. Even though they're not super long, I don't know if I got the time to kind of ramp through all that type of stuff before this one hits, but anything like that, I'm really excited. This is a lot of good things coming up. And I'll just say there are a couple of things in the theater I want to check out. Like Novocaine, the Jack Quaid film coming up in the middle of March. The Soderbergh film, Black Bag, which has Fassbender and I think Kate Blanchett. That looks great. That looks really compelling. That's a nice espionage thriller. But there's also one coming up in April starring Rami Malek called The Amateur. If you don't want to do trailers or whatnot, which Steve doesn't, he saw Companion. He loved it as well. He told me himself. He really loved it. And he's the one who doesn't watch trailers. Like I said last time, skip the trailers, just go in cold. Fortunately, it hasn't really performed that well. The box office has kind of limped off and whatnot. I think it's out on digital VOD rental and whatnot right now. But I still definitely recommend it. Neither one of us really liked Hard Eyes. We felt it was very kind of first drafty type of thing. It just kind of like all the elements didn't really kind of coalesce for ourselves. We saw it on the same day, but we didn't see it together. And neither one of us really kind of felt like it came together quite so well. And then I saw Trent really didn't like it. I saw an Instagram story for him, and I texted directly to Steve in an instant, and he hated it. He hated Hard Eyes. So the entire conglomeration of us over here were not Hard Eyes fans at all. It didn't click for us overall. But anything like that, talking about things like The Amateur, this thing looks really good. I saw the trailer ahead of Nosferatu, and I was like, this thing looks good. Like, Rami Malek is like a CIA analyst guy. He's not a field agent. He's not a guy who can because it's an entire revenge story where the guy's not a trained killer. He can't really pull the trigger, but he has a different set of skills. More of a scientific way of going about things like this. It's just an interesting hook. I really liked it. Of course, Rami Malek is fabulous. I'm just really hooked into this film. This film looks really goddamn good. I'm really excited for this thing. I really want to see this one. So many different things. And I am looking forward to Thunderbolts. I didn't go see Captain America Brave New World. There are a lot of dicey things about it. I would rather wait for it on Disney Plus and see if I want to go that way. But Thunderbolts, I'm really excited for. Like, everything I see about that film, it looks funny. It looks action-packed, exciting, interesting character stuff going on, the whole thing. I'm really excited for that one. I think that could be a really solid MCU film that could just do a lot of great things. So, getting a lot of characters now that you can be endearing. It's kind of the problem they've had with a lot of the films they've been trying to introduce. There's not a lot of consistency is one thing, but not quite clicking as much with really cementing the characters as well. I think this one could really do something nice going forward. If it gives any kind of stability or kind of pull for certain things, I just feel like this one has a lot of good things going for it. So I'll end off there and some things like that. So anything like that, guys. So very much like to hear if you're excited by any sort of things. I am. Stuff that's coming up now on the channel in terms of Maximum Overdrive, the review video I'll do for Rogue Nation, and stuff like that. So definitely, guys, let me know what you feel about how we're going along in the entire channel here, and how you feel about everything in general. So if you picked up the 4K of Constantine, let me know how you felt about it, and stuff like that. So, guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.